Hello everyone and welcome to another Plan with me. My name is Courtney and together we're going to be setting up my January spread in my bullet journal. So to start off, I'm just picking out which supplies I would like to use. I find it really helps me to pick a monochromatic theme. I just find that it's a little less busy and a little less overwhelming. So I selected a couple Tombows and then these two washi tapes that have a nice cohesive color palette. And there are the two Tombows, 076 and 026, that kind of yellow and green hue. To start off, I do not do a monthly cover page. I do, however, do a welcome spread. So I will start off by writing out my goals for the month, or at least a section to place them. And then I follow that up with a section for gratitude. I do like to do a monthly gratitude log. I don't necessarily write in it every day, but I do like to have the space there to write in it throughout the month, and it just is so lovely to look back on. I will separate the two sections with some washi tape, and this is a pretty standard template for me to have the goals on the top, gratitude on the bottom, and then on the opposite page I will do monthly favorites. For monthly favorites, I leave it pretty blank because I like to fill it out throughout the month. I will use little icons that I draw and make note of any favorite TV shows or music or food, games, anything that is on repeat that month. My weekly spreads are also pretty minimal in terms of the preparation. I will start by dividing days of the week. And each section gets 5 squares, and that allows me to have 6 rows, and then I will split the weekend up into 2 days at the bottom. And this gives me enough space to do this mini calendar. I think it is a really great layout. It's something that I've been doing literally since my first bullet journal in 2017, and every time I deviate, I miss this layout. So it is something that I repeat every week. I also really like to write out the week number for the year. I'm not really sure why, but it's just kind of nice to have some type of header. That is a zebra pen that I just used, a zebra brush pen, and it is so great for adding texture. So then I'll just go through and pick out a little design to write out each of the days of the week. And then, of course, putting in a tissue paper in between the pages so that I can move quickly without having to worry about ink smudging on the opposite side. Once again, creating the calendar for the next week, and I like to change up how I do it using different markers and different lettering styles. One of the biggest tips I have to add interest into simple layouts like this is to add variety in your line weight. So you can see that I have a thinner January, a little bit of a thicker stroke for the days of the week, and then of course the actual dates are quite thin. So even though it's all in black, it still has lots of interest. I like to leave these days very open when I'm planning and setting it up because I kind of treat this as a journal. As the week goes on, I will write in blue ink what I did that day, and sometimes it's as simple as doing laundry, doing errands, and then other times it's bigger adventures. When I'm finished with the week setup, something that I didn't include in the film is that I will go in with a black ink and write anything that is recurring. So I might write my work schedule, any appointments that I have, any birthdays. If you have a future log, that is the type of thing that I would transfer to these weekly spreads. I decided this year not to include a future log in my setup, but I am using a digital calendar that I will reference any important dates such as appointments and things. What I'm doing right now is one of my go-tos for using the Tombow brush pens, doing this kind of little swatch as a background to the date and the letter of the week is just a really simple way to spruce up any weekly spread. And then in the past, I would use the opposite page for to-do lists, just different like brain dump and things. I've now switched to my to-do list in a digital system. I've been using Notion lately and I've been loving it. So I haven't been writing them out in my bullet journal. Instead, what I've been using this opposite page is more as a kind of like an art journal page. So anything that might have happened that week, I'll kind of do a little spread or a reflection on that page. And I just think it'll be really nice to look back and see what was going on each week. Small things that I wouldn't necessarily remember without the help. So one of the things I like to do, because I keep my color palette pretty small, is each week I will do all one color, and then the next week I'll do all the other color, and then I'll have a couple spreads that combine the two colors. So you can see that I've done that here. This one is predominantly this yellow hue, whereas the one previous was green. I think that having a limited color palette really helps to make the month cohesive, and it's definitely not something you have to do, but I like to set myself up for the whole month so it only takes one sitting, and having a limited color palette really helps that. I'm not really sure what inspired me to grab both of the Tombows here to write out the word for. I don't know, it works, I guess. A little unusual, but yeah, it's kind of fun. My beautiful cat Rory was joining me throughout this whole time, just sleeping in his little house. And the final step that I do is to shade in each week of the calendar. I am very careful to do it with pencil crayon instead of with a marker, because the pen that I've selected to do my calendar is water-based, and therefore if I use a marker it will smudge. And now we're all finished. This is my January goals section and gratitude and monthly favorites. Really like how that turned out, nice and clean. I love the line variety in the first week. Just really simple spreads this month. Here is a spread with just that yellow hue. And then one with just the green. As you can see, I also like to change out the font that I'll use, the hand lettering technique, just to give some variety. And instead the consistency is through the colors I've chosen. And that's it. Bye bye. And I'll see you next time for my February setup.